Hey guys, welcome back to the Triple Play Podcast. Here talking some more NFL football. I know everybody's excited. The Thursday night game got everybody hyped. Two good teams playing against each other there, and we're gonna progress into Sunday here. So I'm gonna let Nick tell you what we're talking about, kind of give you an overview, and then we'll go into it.
We're going to talk about all the 1 o'clock matchups. We're going to highlight three of them. We're going to highlight Panthers Giants, obviously because we're Panthers fans. Got to break down their games every week. And then we're going to break down Dolphins Ravens and Buccaneers and Saints because we think those are probably the two best games in terms of talent on each team.
Yeah, so it seems like we're going to run through a couple games here first that are not as appealing, fantasy
Yeah.
wise or game wise, just in general. Sorry if your team is a part of this. But we're gonna run. I'll run through the fantasy options for you real quick. Nick, is there a game
Yeah.
you want me to start with here? Or you want me to just go at it?
I've got Patriots Steelers at the top of my list of games and
It's
final
fine.
scores, so we can start with them if you want to.
It's fine. So as far as the Patriots are concerned, the only the only players that I might be starting if I'm in a deep league are maybe Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. And maybe if I'm like really backed into a corner at wide receiver, I'd start Jacoby Myers for PPR purposes. But that is like really deep league. Like 14 team leagues are starting Jacoby Myers. That's all I've got on the Patriots. And
Jesus.
then as far as the Steelers go, Najee Harris suits up. You play
Mhm.
Najee Harris.
Yep.
And then in the passing game, you are more than welcome to play Pat Fryermuth and Deontay Johnson on a weekly basis at this point.
And I think honestly, if I don't know of any league that doesn't have a defense, but the Steelers defense I think is always a good option because
Absolutely, right now. Yep.
I mean they have TJ's out for like 3 or 4 weeks, but Minka Fitzpatrick is a great cornerback,
Yeah.
and I mean he's a threat for a pick every single week.
We saw what the secondary did last week.
Yeah,
So, um, final score prediction, Nick. What you got?
I've got it 2014 Pittsburgh.
Okay. I'm actually going to go a little lower than that. I'm going to go
Oh,
17-10 Pittsburgh.
okay.
But yeah, I think low scoring affair. Neither one of these
Yeah.
offenses are going to try to do too much. So I think
I
it's going
don't
to
know
be
that either one of these offenses can do too much. I don't think really.
fair enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
sorry if you're a fan of one of those teams. Sorry.
Who do you have next, Nick?
I've got the Jets and Browns next.
Jets and
Uh,
Browns?
yeah, pretty boring game in my opinion. But I mean, the Browns didn't play bad, against the Panthers last week.
Yeah. Nick Chubb's
And
gonna have fun.
yeah, yeah. If you're a Nick Chubb owner, obviously you're throwing him out every single week
Yep.
as long as he's playing.
Yep.
What are you looking at final score wise there?
Well, real quick, I'll just tell
Oh,
you who on each team here. I mean, obviously you're starting Nick Chubb. If you got to
mhm.
start Kareem Hunt, I don't think it's a bad option. Obviously, he scored
Yeah.
2 touchdowns last week against Carolina.
Hmm.
As far as wide receivers, maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones.
He
Dude is a menace.
he made Jacoby
Jacoby
Brissett.
Brissett, yeah.
He made Jacoby Brissett look so good last week,
This
like
man
four or
was
five plays.
was like yeah, like fully outstretched at least
Dude,
four or
it was
five
ridiculous.
times.
It was
Like
like
he may be the
so
one.
good.
Amari
Yeah,
Cooper may not be the one.
no, dude. After last week, Amari Cooper's like the three.
Yeah, I'm probably staying away from David and Njoku too. Just wasn't a focal point last week. Don't see him being much of a focal point this week when they're running the ball all over the Jets.
No.
As far as the Jets are concerned, if you're in a deep league, maybe you're playing Michael Carter at running back, just for PPR purposes and such. He's not going to get you a ton of yards. And then at wide receiver, you could dart throw Elijah Moore if you had to. And once again, that's for PPR purposes. But last week, Joe Flacco threw the ball 50 plus times, and you still weren't happy with any wide receiver that you played. So, final
That's
score.
nuts.
I'll go first this time if you want to
Okay.
here. I do think that the Browns score quite easily in this game just because of what the two running backs are going to do. I say something like 24-7. I say the Jets maybe get one touchdown in there, but 24-7 Browns in this one.
Um, I'm gonna go. I think 24-14. I think I'm gonna give the Jets enough credit for two, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, if they score none, I still wouldn't be surprised. But if they score 20, I don't think I'd be like crazily surprised either. Really.
Absolutely. Who you got next?
Colts Jaguars.
Colts, Jaguars, not necessarily, I don't think this is the same as the other games. I know the Steelers are 1-0 and I know the Browns are 1-0, but they're not as exciting of teams. The Colts tied their first game, but I feel like people still, you're just like ready for the Colts to like have just an insane game.
I'm gonna be honest with you. After week 1, you're still happy about what Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman Jr., and God, what's
Jonathan
his name?
Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. And
Yep.
about you still feel good about what they
But
did.
that's where the gravy train stops. Right there.
It really is. Yeah.
There's no number 2 wide receiver. There's no tight end that you're looking at.
Mm-mm.
Like, now one thing that I will say off the top here before I mention anything about fantasy options, Michael Pittman Jr. missed practice on Wednesday. I don't know if he missed practice today or not. I might could like try to find that information real
Mm-hmm.
quick here. But if
Mm-hmm.
Michael Pittman Jr.'s out, that does really change the way you're thinking about what you're doing as far as the Colts. Oh, he did not practice Thursday. So Wednesday is sometimes a rest day for these players. These players that are like the big time guys. Thursday's when you usually come back to practice. Pittman Jr. didn't practice Thursday, and I have no clue if he practiced today or not.
Oh Lord. Here we
So
go.
that's something to monitor going forward. If
Yeah.
Pittman Jr.'s out, obviously in this game, if you had to stream a quarterback here, Matt Ryan's not a bad option against the
Yeah.
Jaguars defense that can't stop anybody. Jonathan Taylor is going to be beautiful in this game.
Oh yeah.
Michael Pittman, if he plays, if he does not, Paris Campbell is your guy. Okay. I know he wasn't very nice last week, but that's because Pittman Jr. got all the looks.
Mm-hmm.
Paris Campbell's your guy if Pittman Jr. does not play. And you can roll out the Colts defense in this one.
Yeah, probably.
Anything you want to say about any of those options? I'll talk about the Jaguars.
I mean, obviously, I don't think Matt Ryan's a terrible option at quarterback because he is a gunslinger.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do have to give Jonathan Taylor his attention, because he's just too good to not get his carries.
Yeah, he's gonna run the clock out in this one for sure.
Yeah.
Final
score wise, what are you thinking?
Well, just real quick,
about the Jaguars.
Yeah. You're not starting Trevor Lawrence. However, you probably don't want to start James Robinson either. Obviously Travis Etienne is playing second fiddle to James Robinson right now. You're kind of waiting on that breakout to come, but James Robinson's a very talented player. They like him in Jacksonville. You're probably not wanting to play him this week against the Colts. If you have to, he's going to get enough touches to be involved. Maybe you just hope that he breaks one out.
Yeah.
As far as wide receivers, though, Christian Kirk, a very serviceable wide receiver for the Jaguars right now. I don't think you're scared at all to play Christian Kirk in this one. They are going to have to throw the ball because they're going to have to try to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Final score wise, we thought the Colts last week were going to really put the smack down on the Texans. I think a week removed from something like that, as long as Pittman's healthy, doing what he needs to be doing and everything like that, we could see something like 27-10.
Yeah, I had 28-14 Colts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm giving the Jaguars a little credit here.
Yeah.
I don't think the Jaguars are pitiful by any means. I think they're probably going to be much improved from last year. So I think we got one more of these games that we're going to kind of just graze over here, and I think that's Commanders Lions, right?
Yeah.
Not for lack of entertainment in week 1, though.
To be honest with you, yeah, but I honestly, I'm thinking there's going to be a little bit of a fall off of that. I don't think that they're going to match up for whatever 35 plus 28 is. Like, I don't think the Lions are scoring 35 points again maybe this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think it could be interesting. I think both teams could get a little score happy in this game, but I think this is a very close game. I know it's not very exciting as far as the teams that are in it, but I do think it is a very close game. On the Washington Commanders side, if you have to start Carson Wentz this week, not a bad look. Okay, looked great last week. This is a Lions defense that couldn't stop Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. So I mean, go ahead and roll him out. Antonio Gibson at running back is a beautiful play this week. Catches a lot of passes. That was what people were worried about. Would J.D. McKissick take the most of the passing down work? Wasn't the case. Antonio Gibson was catching a lot of passes, looking good out there. As far as wide receivers go, I think you could kind of go, if you had to, you could go with all three. I mean, honestly, Terry McLaurin, he's a stud. You didn't see what you wanted to see last week necessarily, but he's a stud. He's going to get his. Curtis Samuel was a guy that was a PPR nightmare last week. He's going to catch a ton of balls across the middle. They're going to find ways to use him, like with short routes. And then Jahan Dotson catches 2 touchdowns as this outstanding rookie that they're so hyped about.
Yeah.
So if you had to play one of them, I don't think you're feeling terrible about any
Yeah.
of
Oh no, I think you have to start Terry McLaurin. I think if you have him, you're crazy if you don't start him because he's going to get his this week. I think.
Yeah.
He didn't get his last week, but I think he's going to get it this week.
Yep.
um,
On the Lions side, I think the main story that you're following on the Lions side is that DeAndre Swift is still questionable. He rolled his ankle in the second quarter of the game last week, but continued to play. However, he has come out and said that there is absolutely no way that he is not going to be suited up for the Washington Redskins on Sunday. If he
okay,
is in, you play him. Because
absolutely.
even if he is splitting more time with Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift is too talented
Yeah.
not to be in your starting lineup. You're probably staying away from Jared Goff. He does enough to be a pretty good quarterback, but he's not enough to be a good fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, roll him out.
Oh yeah. Hey,
You
looked
know,
good last week.
if you had to in a deeper league, DJ Chark actually looked pretty good last week. Led the league in air yards last week for just these deep targets that he's trying to get. He's a threat. I mean, he really is. And he played for the Jaguars in the role that Christian Kirk has kind of stepped into now for them. Kind of the same kind of player too. So DJ Chark, a guy to maybe look for. If you have to play TJ Hawkinson, I guess you do, and you just kind of hope that he scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
Neither defense in this one though. Stay away from the
Oh
defenses.
no.
I think
We
this
looking
could be.
at final score wise though.
I'm going to say 27-24 Lions. I'm going to give the Lions their first win this year.
Really?
Played a great game last week against a good Eagles team, whereas the Commanders, won a game against a not so good Jaguars team.
I'm going 24-21 Commanders.
Okay, so
I'm
you're
gonna
different
I'm
on
gonna
this one.
I'm gonna think that the Lions I don't think they're gonna be this some kind of crazy offense, just terrible defense team. I don't think that they're 35 points good.
Yeah,
Really.
I hear you. I hear you.
Like no, they might be. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody's team or anything. I'm trying to be realistic. Like I don't think that the Lions have the pieces to be a 35-point team, on a consistent ish basis.
Yeah, I mean, they are. This is the Lions changeover year. I feel like this is the year where you kind of bridge the gap between being bad and being really good maybe next year because I don't know, they've got some pieces that I like. We just have to see how it plays out this year. Maybe they go out and get a couple more pieces, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because if you can't stop anybody, you can't win ball games.
Yeah.
So I like some of the younger pieces they have. Just I could see them getting a win this week. That's why I had them winning.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if they win, it wouldn't be like a total shock to me at all. Like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have a 3-point game. Easily. It could
absolutely.
easily go either way, in my opinion.
Yeah. I say we probably cover the least exciting of the next 3 games, which is the Panthers Giants first. Hate to say that, but it
Yeah,
is.
it's true.
The Giants are 1-0 after beating a usually pretty serviceable Tennessee team that's had some success in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and for all intensive purposes, holding Derrick Henry to 82 yards, you know,
Pretty impressive.
a little clap there.
Mhm.
But because the Giants are seen as this defense that just can't get it done or whatever, and they did allow 20 points, but I, as far as the Giants in this game, fantasy options, Daniel Jones probably not.
Now,
Probably
I will
not. Now,
say, my boy looked clean last week.
yeah,
17 for 21. That's like the best game he's had in his career.
yeah, but he is never gonna do enough to be a good fantasy option.
Oh no, probably.
He is a guy that could take off with the legs though every now and
Yeah.
then. So if he starts getting a little run happy here in the middle of the season or something like that, you want to pick him up for a flyer, maybe. Saquon Barkley, you are smashing the start button on Saquon
Mm-hmm.
Barkley this week after last week. Shoo, you're
Absolutely.
feeling good about that 4th round draft pick or that
Oh
fifth
yeah.
round draft pick on Saquon Barkley, according to what kind of league you're in. How deep your league is, that is. As far as wide receivers, Panthers passing defense didn't look too bad last week.
Mm-mm.
I'm kind of out. Kadarius Toney apparently has his hamstring is tightened up. He wasn't even really involved last week. I'm kind of done. I'm not done, but I'm not starting him this week because I have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
Sterling Shepard only looked good last week because he had an absolute. He had a bomb touchdown, just a
Yeah.
really long touchdown. So I'm hands off with all wide receivers right now for the Giants until further notice.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
really,
I
you're
can't
just
blame
rolling
you.
out. Really, for a 1-0 ball team, you're just rolling out Saquon Barkley right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's weird because on the other side of the ball, we have an 0-1 ball team that I feel like you're rolling out 2 pieces, maybe 3 in a deep league.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're playing Christian McCaffrey. You're not playing Baker Mayfield yet. Let's not get too excited, okay? We're trying to win the first ball game here. Christian McCaffrey's in your lineup every single week. Don't get excited. Don't think too much into it. Hold on to him. He's fine. DJ Moore, don't worry. Okay. We're not smashing the panic button yet. Okay. DJ Moore's gonna get his. Baker Mayfield's gonna get comfortable. He's not playing the Browns this week. All of that's in the past now. He's done with that. He's playing the Giants this week. And then if you're in a deeper league, throw Robbie Anderson out there. The Panthers
Yeah.
seem to really want to run some plays through Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
So if they're going to target this guy, and he's always a deep threat too, so once every 3 weeks you're going to get an absolute bomb touchdown because he just somehow finds it. His lanky self finds his way behind the defense somehow. Like how nobody sees that man running through I have no clue. Like
Dude,
this man,
that touchdown pass
definitely
from Baker, he just like walked right
golly.
behind the 2 safeties.
Yeah,
Bomb, touchdown.
nobody has
What?
any clue. They're like, well, Robbie Anderson wasn't good last year, so I guess we're not covering him. But goodness
He would
gracious,
act like he's like some kind of bum that can't catch the ball or
and
something.
you'd act like he was small and they didn't see him get back there or something. This dude is the easiest to see on the field. I don't think you're starting either one of these defenses either.
No, absolutely
Not ready for
not.
anyone. Saquon's going to tear up the Panthers defense, and I think the
Probably.
Panthers are going to do a number on the Giants defense too, just to be
Yeah.
honest. Final score, Nick. I gotta have you go first right here.
We're going 31-21 Panthers.
Golly, a little bit of scoring in this one.
Well, the
Abby.
Giants defense can't be that great. Like really, like
Yeah.
I think honestly, I'm banking that scoring off of Baker continuing what he showed us in the last half of last week's ball game.
And we're hoping that the offensive coordinator continues to show us what he showed us. Oh, Ben McAdoo. It's a revenge game for Ben McAdoo. He used to coach the Giants back when they were terrible.
They're still terrible.
No, they was terrible back then though. But poor old Ben McAdoo looked pitiful out there. But now he's the offensive coordinator for the Panthers. You got Ben McAdoo, you got Matt Rule, and they're just trying to, rub 2 pennies together before we get on the field here. I've got the Panthers 24-21.
Okay.
Golly,
same 21.
Panthers don't win this game, Matt Rule gets fired.
Oh yeah, I agree
Bold
with that 100%.
take.
Because hold on.
No way you go out and get Baker Mayfield to better your team. You've got a great young defense. You lose the first 2 games to the Browns and the Giants, and you're not fired. No way.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the schedule here. If we start out 0-2, we're probably losing to the Saints week 3. We're losing to the Cardinals week 4. I don't know about the 49ers. If Jimmy G's at quarterback, we probably lose to them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that we're losing to the Rams more than likely. I don't think it matters if Stafford's healthy. We're probably just losing to them.
Yeah.
We're losing to the Buccaneers. Like we're gonna be like 0-8 to start the year.
Yeah, it's gonna be really tough. If you win this game, you might catch a little traction, maybe sneak a couple off of some people here, maybe sneak one off of the 49ers, maybe even surprise the Saints if Jameis Winston has a pick happy day.
Right.
But if
now,
you
and I will
lose
say
this
the Panthers pass defense didn't look awful.
If you lose this one, the wheels come off, in my opinion. I feel like they for sure fire Matt Rule, and it's untelling who else might be out the door as well. Now, this has been McAdoo's first year as offensive coordinator, so as long as he doesn't do anything too foolish, like put Baker back under center with that pathetic offensive line, then he'll be okay. Just keep him in the gun. Let's just keep him in the gun and just do it that way.
He looked so good in the second half.
Yeah,
it literally was literally someone else had to be calling the plays. From the first half to the second half. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it was almost like there was a guy sitting in the 500 section up there in that one end zone that kept saying the whole first half that they needed to go to the shotgun. I don't know who that was. I don't know who that guy was. He had a Baker Mayfield jersey on. I know that was a fact. And he'll have a Baker Mayfield jersey on again this Sunday. Okay, 24-21. Let's get him. Let's get him. Go Panthers.
Yep.
Keep
Go
pounding.
Panthers.
Which of these two games do you want to talk about first? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to talk about Saints Bucks next because I think the last one's a little juicier. You tell me what you think.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, Saints Buccaneers. Battle of the 1-0s. Saints look good coming back to beat the Falcons. You know, obviously we didn't think it was going to be that close, but kudos to the Falcons for coming out and playing some ball. They had some guys look pretty good in that game too.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't like Jameis Winston. He's like the most inconsistent player I've ever seen in my entire life. He's like Javier Baez.
Well, I think the main thing was we didn't see a ton of picks out of him in week 1. That's the main thing, though.
Yeah, but next week he might throw 4.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Against a Buccaneers defense that is way more serviceable than the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
269 and 2 touchdowns in the first game for Jameis Winston, and I feel like he's going to hover between 250 and 3 for two touchdowns around that area. When Jameis Winston starts creeping up to 350, that's when it's going to start creeping up to 2 interceptions per game. Because whenever he has to throw that much and take that many risks, that's just Jameis Winston. He's going to throw some interceptions. Now, obviously, you want to see the Buccaneers punch the ball in a little more here. And I don't know if you know this stat, Nick, but Tom Brady's 0-4 against the Saints since he moved to the Buccaneers.
Really?
Yes, 0-4 against the Saints. Just can't seem to get it done against that defense. For some reason, this defense always has Tom Brady figured out.
Nah, he's got it this week. I'm calling it.
Got it this week. He's calling it. So on the Buccaneers side, good news all the way around. I don't think you're starting Tom Brady this week. Saints defense is pretty respectable. I think there's some better options out there for you.
Oh yeah.
You're starting Leonard Fournette. He come back to practice yesterday on Thursday, so feeling good, looking good.
I somehow ended up getting him in all 3 leagues I'm in.
Listen, respect. Take him to the title. Because that I mean, telling you what, he could be an MVP pick for you because you didn't have to go early on him.
Sure.
Then as far as wide receiver, Mike Evans was back at practice yesterday. Julio Jones was back at practice yesterday. Russell Gage was back at practice yesterday. Now, I don't think you're playing Russell Gage in this one, but I think you're definitely rolling out Julio Jones with Chris Godwin being out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Those are the 2 passing guys you want. You want Mike Evans and Julio Jones.
Yep.
On the Saints side of the ball, Jameis Winston, it's definitely a hands-off no. Alvin Kamara has a possibility to miss this game.
Really?
Right? Alvin Kamara has a possibility to miss this game with a rib injury, something that he was dealing with, something that he has been dealing with. But now also Mark Ingram has been dealing with something as well. I don't know if he's been ruled in or out yet. So it's a situation where I think they want to limit Kamara's touches, even if he is in the game. They signed Latavius Murray to their practice squad. He's a guy that's been there before. He's been Alvin Kamara's backup before, while Melvin Ingram was off at other places. But he was with the Baltimore Ravens for a little bit, and then he went over to the Houston Texans. But no, I mean, if Alvin Kamara is in, I think you just have to start him. Too good of a player not to. And then as far as wide receiver, I think you're rolling out Michael Thomas. I would respect a Jarvis Landry rollout here. 7 for what was it, like 117-ish, something like that.
It was something good.
So PPR, you love it.
Yeah.
Yards, you love it. Don't think he's going to be the touchdown guy there, though. Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara are going to be playing touchdown time for sure. I think we're still waiting on Chris Olave, though. I think you still wait and see. If Michael Thomas is what he needs to be, and Jarvis Landry, I feel like Jarvis Landry is the one that'll kind of take a step back as the season goes along, and Olave will step up as we go.
Yeah.
Anything about any of those fantasy options that intrigues you going into the game?
Michael Thomas both scares me and intrigues me. Because he only had 5 catches for like 50-something yards and 2 touchdowns.
2 tutties, yep.
Now, if that's going to be him every week, if he's the end zone guy, I think you just start him every week. Really, you have to. I think.
Yeah, and I understand because he's the slant man.
Yeah, he really
And
is.
he's a big guy.
Yeah, he is a bigger guy. And I think if he's healthy, I think he can be more than that as the season goes on. He can be
Okay.
more than just that end zone guy that's just 5 for 50 every game.
Yep. And before we do our prediction on this game, our $10 side bet update, Michael Thomas being a top 15 wide receiver this year. Right now, he's number 8 in our fantasy league. So right now, looking pretty good.
Nick.
Obviously, I hope they double team him this week. Double team him, knock him out of the top 20s, get me a little bit of comfort here. Give me a cushion.
Dude, we ain't gonna be able to talk about this until it's like week 13. We'll have a decent idea of how it's gonna like stack up.
Yeah, absolutely. Final score predictions. Now I'll go first this time. You went first
Okay.
on the Panthers game. I'm gonna say,
I swear if you
God,
say
do
the
I want to
Saints.
do low scoring? I want to do low scoring. Just to be honest with you, I'm gonna go 17-14 Buccaneers. Yeah, I think
I'm
this could be a little bit of a back and forth tug of war here.
I'm going more blowout. Or not really a blowout. I'm going 24-14.
Okay, so a
Buccaneers.
little cushion, little cushion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Tom Brady gets it done in this. Obviously, we'll be watching what the offensive line does, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Can they protect Tom Brady?
If I'll be honest, if he gets hit all year, I think he might call it quits.
Yeah, you think this
Really.
might be it for
Like
good?
for good. Like quits.
Yeah,
Quits.
yeah, I hear you on that. Well, we got one more game here, and I think it's the most exciting game in my opinion. Dolphins Ravens. I know my brother's looking forward to this one. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this one, but the new look Dolphins against the same problems as last year Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Your running backs are hurt, and you're trying to make it work with a veteran guy, so or two. But anyway, any like initial thoughts before we get into some fantasy options here?
I think my initial thoughts are towards just fantasy options. Like, I mean, I'm excited for this game. Like, I think other than obviously, the Panthers game, I'm going to be watching that just because Panthers. But
Yep,
I think this is probably the most exciting 1 o'clock game in terms of talent on both teams.
exactly. And
Um,
both teams won pretty handily last week as well. Pretty
yeah,
comfortable wins.
yeah,
So, okay, on the Dolphins side, I don't think you're rolling out Tua. He's just not. Tua's a game manager.
he's not there yet
He's
at
not gonna
all.
throw for 350 and 4. Like,
Mm-mm.
that's just not Tua. As far as running backs go, you could play Chase Edmonds. I really don't want to. Raheem Mostert took the goal line work away from him, even though he didn't get in for a touchdown either. But Chase Edmonds, you love the passing game work, and I feel like these two teams are going to score a lot against each other. So if you got to play Chase Edmonds, go ahead. Wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle,
Mhm.
you're good to
Roll him
go.
out.
You should have already cut Mike Gesicki from your team. I don't know why he's still on your team. So if you're even thinking about Mike Gesicki here, first of all, you're going to finish last this season.
What's with the
And
Mike Gesicki hate?
because they literally just have decided that Mike Gesicki should block, and that's it. Like, and for
He's
some
George
reason,
Kittle, but bad.
it happened last year too. Toward the end of the year, Mike Gesicki is such a freak athlete. This dude is so good, in my opinion. And toward the end of last year, they just decided, oh yeah, he's a blocker. He's just gonna block. And then now, starting this year, had one target, nothing, and just
Yeesh.
blocked on most of it. Barely ran any routes. Like, put another lineman in there if that's what we're gonna do. Jesus, like it upsets me. It does.
Yeah.
You're not playing the Dolphins defense in this one. I'll tell you that.
No.
As far as the Ravens go, Lamar Jackson, you can start him. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good player. Probably going to run for about 100 yards every game. But now he's gonna have to throw the ball too because
Yeah.
he's got Kenyon Drake in the backfield back there. They're still waiting on J.K. Dobbins. If J.K. Dobbins plays in this game, I don't think it's time to play J.K. Dobbins on your lineup.
Mm-mm.
You do not know what it's going to be. He was out last week. He could be on a snap. He could be on a 5-touch count.
Mm-hmm.
And even if one of those touches goes deep, you can't say that you knew that was going to happen. So play it safe. Wait on J.K. Dobbins. If he scores points on your bench, that's fine because at least he wasn't in somebody else's starting lineup.
Right.
As far as wide receivers go, this is where it gets a little interesting for the Ravens. Mark Andrews, you're rolling out every week. You're not worried.
Yep.
Rashad Bateman, I feel like you're rolling out just about every week and feeling pretty decent about it. He's just a talent.
Yeah.
He's a talent. He's a guy that's supposed to get it done out there. And then Duvernay is a guy that caught 2 touchdowns last week. However, he only had 4 catches for 54 yards with those 2 touchdowns. So you've got to see where he is in the offense. If you could go elsewhere this week, go elsewhere. But
Yeah.
if you can't help it, I do think these teams are going to score a little bit against each other. So if you
Yeah.
can't help it, you can go Duvernay as well. I I probably wouldn't want to play the Ravens defense in this game. I do think the Dolphins are going to be able to score. But if you absolutely had to, just because you wanted to keep them around for whoever they play next week, I think they'll at least get a couple turnovers for sure.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
No,
Final
I went
score
first.
wise.
I went first.
Ah, no, you didn't. I went
I,
first on Saints Bucks.
I went first on the Panthers
I'll
and
go first
Giants.
again. I'll go first
Okay,
again. I
good.
don't care. Um, you know what? It's time for a change.
Oh God.
Time for a change, and I don't think it's a close one.
What?
Dolphins 31-21 over the Ravens.
Oh,
10-point game.
okay. I've got Dolphins 28-24.
28-24. Well, I be dog.
Hey.
Well, I be dog. Look at that. I do really think it's going to hurt the Ravens not having their running backs like they need right now. Last year, it became like it got to the point to where Lamar was literally like just throwing it up like 40 to 50 times a game. And that's not Lamar.
Yeah.
Like that's just not. He needs to be capped at 30 passing attempts. Not to say he's a terrible passer, but he's not a prolific passer.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to be capped at 30 passing attempts and about 10 rushing attempts.
Yeah.
That's Lamar. And when you get inside the 10, look for him to run that baby in instead of throwing it. But no, I just think the Dolphins are riding high right now. I think they're just feeling really good about themselves as a team
Yeah.
right now, and a respectable defense enough to to play with their offense. That is. But yeah, I think 31-21. I think these teams go at each other.
Yeah. I had a little closer. I do think they go at each other. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an even higher scoring game than this than what we think it is.
Yeah, when you got Tyreek Hill on one side and you got Lamar Jackson on the other side, you're ready for some fireworks. That's
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So, do you want to do real quick before as our time's running down here? First of all, let's pick a game that we feel like could be a potential upset out of this.
Out of which games? Just
So
all of them in
I
general?
don't think you can say I don't think you can pick it from the Commanders Lions. I don't think you could pick it from the Buccaneers Saints. I think both those games are too close. I don't think you could say Dolphins Ravens. Either one of those
Mm-hmm.
teams would be an upset. So you got kind of 3 options here. I don't think the Jets are winning a ball game anytime soon.
Hey, they
Um,
scored 30 or no, they scored 9 last week, didn't they? Bums.
yeah. I'm gonna say potential upset Patriots over the Steelers.
I could see it for sure.
Yeah, I just think, Bill Belichick and the boys could bring a real good defense out there and hold up the Steelers and just kind of try their best not to make mistakes on offense, make it a
Yeah,
really low scoring game. And I could see Patriots over Steelers here for sure.
yeah, absolutely. I think that's 'cause I think we both had Pittsburgh, didn't we?
Yeah, we both had
Yeah,
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
I definitely think the Patriots could upset the Steelers for sure.
Okay. And is there anybody on any of these teams that you just think has just one player that you think has just an absolutely explosive day fantasy wise? If you
Um,
had to pick one.
if I had to pick one out of all of these teams, probably Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, so you think Christian McCaffrey is just on it this week?
I think he's gonna have at least 2 total touchdowns. I don't know receiving, rushing, how he's gonna get them. I just think he'll have 2. He had 1 last week. I really do. I do think that DJ Moore and McCaffrey are gonna be force fed this week in the
Yep.
offense as a whole for the most
I
part.
agree. I agree. It just makes too much sense not to. I'm gonna go back to that last game we talked about, and I'm gonna say that Tyreek Hill has at least 2 touchdowns this week.
Hey, give me some knuckles for
Oh
that,
yeah,
dude.
got
Oh
you,
yeah,
bro. All right, because if you're gonna beat a good team, your best players have to play, and Tyreek Hill has always showed up in
dude.
big games.
Tyreek
Dude,
Hill's just a beast.
he is a menace on the field, and there is no like I know that the Ravens secondary is pretty respectable. Tyreek Hill's the fastest player in the league. You can say
Oh, dude,
somebody
he's
else
a
that you can
freak of
say this
nature.
person, you can say that person, you can say, oh,
He
it would
is
be close.
ridiculous.
When you put the pads on, running down the field, he will run away from everybody every single time. So I think Tyreek Hill has at least 2 touchdowns in that
Yeah.
game for sure.
I like it. I like it.
But no, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Some
Absolutely.
very interesting matchups at the
Yeah.
425s. We'll hit you with injuries again tomorrow because we'll have a better idea of some of these. I might run down injuries right at the beginning tomorrow, so we'll have a
Mhm.
better idea of who might be in, who might be out. And
All right.
sometimes you just kind of have to wait until Sunday morning and really get most of your information on
Yeah.
that stuff because a lot of these guys, it's like, well, they're a game time decision, and then you never know. So,
Right.
all right. Well, I feel
All right.
pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Feel
Yeah.
pretty good about it. Nick, tell them what they need to do on this one.
You gotta. There's gonna be a video under. God, I might hit the thing again. There's gonna be a video under Kobe, and there's gonna be an option under me to subscribe. And y'all gotta go watch that video and hit that subscribe button. And y'all gotta comment and let us know, what y'all think. Some final score predictions, in y'all's opinion. Who y'all are looking for as some fantasy sleepers.
I like that
Something
too.
like that.
Yeah, put some fantasy, just bold takes down in the comments.
Oh,
Tell us
absolutely.
which player you're leaning on this week in your
Oh
league.
yeah, absolutely.
I had a kid in my second period. He said, Coach, I won my fantasy matchup and it was all because of you. You told me to put Gabriel Davis in and he done good. And you told me to put so and so in and he done good too. Like I was like, man, listen, like we studying out here. We students of the game out here. I mean, I'm the teacher in the classroom, but I'm a student when it comes to fantasy football. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
We thanks for all the support. Look forward to talking to you more about some football tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Peace.